Hey, I'm Harry Mays, and yes, the Eagles are 8-2 and atop the NFC, but drama takes center stage once again.
I'm Jason Martinez, and without Lane Johnson, I don't think I can see them finishing out strong. Well, let me put my glasses. I still can't see it. You like that, right, Harry? Props and everything.
That was brilliant.
Threw me a curveball. Yep. Hey, you know what? I can understand why you'd be frustrated with the Philadelphia Eagles. I can understand why you'd be frustrated with Jalen Hurts, because you know what I hate? Going to Super Bowls. The inconvenience for my schedule. We'll talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's the Eagles Squad. Everything Philadelphia Eagles every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the city of brotherly love. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Eagles Squad Show starting now.
And welcome into another exciting edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show. This particular episode is brought to you by none other than the wonderful people of PrizePicks. That's right. Today's episode brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We got Hurts talking about the report. We got DeSean Jackson using a teeny bopper phrase that we'll have some fun with. We have the offense still struggling while the defense is dominant. That's Harry Mays. That's Jason Martinez. I'm Marc Farzetta. Let's just start with the Jalen Hurts report. Veteran Eagles reporter Derek Gunn put it out there saying that there are frustrations in the NovaCare complex, coaches and players, with Jalen Hurts and how he is running this offense. Frustrations.
I'm frustrated too.
Why are you frustrated? What's going on there?
Because I don't like the way the offense is running. Simple.
Okay. So we all agree on that. They're
there.
averaging 5 points fewer, a little less than 5 points fewer per game than they did a year ago. Saquon Barkley, boring. Saquon Barkley is still on pace for over 1,000 yards this season, which is bonkers.
That's because they played 17 games.
Yeah, that's a misleading number. That number doesn't mean squat anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he's on pace for 1,100 yards, so it's not like he's just barely going to get there. Like I think the same thing you guys think. I agree with what you're saying.
It's got to be 1,200 now.
It's got to be at least 1,200 to be impressive.
Yeah, I think so, with 17 games.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still another 100-yard game he would have on the books. So, anyway, we agree.
It's won this season, right?
It doesn't mean what it used to mean, but I still don't think it. I still don't think that it doesn't mean nothing. What? Anyway, and then Jalen Hurts. Now, we'll talk about misleading. Yeah. Here's one of my favorite things. Jalen Hurts is on pace for a career year.
Yeah,
he's on pace for 27 touchdown passes, just 2 interceptions,
right,
and a passer rating of 107. Now, let me just say this real quick. I always say numbers never lie, but they sure as hell can deceive.
Yeah.
Both those numbers with Saquon, 1,000 plus, 1,100 plus, Jalen Hurts, 27-2, 107 passer rating. Both those numbers are wildly deceiving when it comes to the struggles of this Philadelphia Eagles offense, Jason.
Yeah, it's eye test. Raw numbers, sometimes you're right. Like, it's crazy. Like, that sounds amazing. 27 and look, we have a different standard. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And the team's 8-2, the ultimate number, right?
Yep. Yeah. And side note, 8-2. Yeah.
I cannot recall a team having, so much success on the field. And it's not like it just came out of nowhere. Like, this is the 93 Phillies. This is a team that won the Super Bowl last year. So we should expect that they find ways to win games. But there's so much friggin' noise around them that, like, when D Gunn breaks a story, I don't push that aside.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that makes stuff up. A lot of times I think when guys like D Gunn give their opinion, I go, that opinion is based on something he's heard from somebody that matters. So I put a lot of stock. Derek Gunn's had a storied career. There's no reason for him to soil it now by making something up. Like, that's ridiculous that people go, they're just making stuff up. Well, why? Because you don't like it? You don't like what he heard? So I put a lot of stock in that. The amount of noise around this team, the only thing that's more remarkable than the record over the last 2 years is the amount of noise they've done it with off the field.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at those numbers that you laid out there, Farzy, with Saquon and Jalen Hurts, and you hadn't watched any of the games, let's say you're somebody that, I don't know, maybe you're serving our country in the Middle East and you weren't able to watch any of the Eagles games on television, but you're looking at all the stats and you're looking at 8-2 and you're like, man, everything's great. We're going to win another Super Bowl. What's the problem? Why is everybody bitching and moaning? But you have to watch
when you need them, Harry. What's the problem now?
Exactly. But we watch the games. We pick this stuff apart on a weekly basis, and I'm glad that it actually came out that people are frustrated, because that sort of reaffirms my viewpoint on what I watch on a week-to-week basis. Is I'm frustrated with the quarterback. I'm frustrated with the offense. I don't know how much of this has to do with Kevin Patullo or not. I mean, I don't watch the All-22. I don't know what the play calls are. So I don't know if Jalen is just choosing not to throw it here or there, or he's just going rogue, at times during the game. I don't really know. But all I know is the finished product, although has been winning games and eking out wins thanks to a terrific defense that is getting better. I don't like what I see.
Yeah, I agree with everything. The frustrating thing is the interesting thing, because I have moments where I'm frustrated as all hell with Jalen Hurts and wondering why he's not seeing a wide open Devontae Smith when he appears to be looking right at a wide open Devontae Smith, and instead he holds on to the football and then almost takes a sack but ends up getting like a 2-yard gain out of it. Like, it's just odd to me that those plays are there. It's weird to me to watch a game like the Giants, and I know a lot of people just focus on the interception that he had, which was only the first one, of the season. But it was the decision. It was staring down the receiver. It was deciding not to throw to A.J. Brown, who was open for the touchdown. Earlier in that Giants game, layered routes, and he chooses a 23-yard route to Dallas Goedert as opposed to a 40-yard touchdown pass to Jahan Dotson, who was right over the top. Like, that's confused. Why would you do that? That's not a Kevin Patullo problem. That's a Jalen Hurts problem. But then I see things where you hear things from the players themselves talking about predictability from the offense, and that falls on the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I also get frustrated at the offensive line apparently not knowing how to run block, which a lot of that comes from the way the offensive coordinator wants this to happen. I'm even getting frustrated with Jeff Stoutland to a degree. He's the run game. He's the run game coordinator, for crying out loud. Is that just some fancy title the Eagles gave him to make him feel special?
I think it was just a way to keep him and give him more money.
Right. Okay. Did you have a passing game coordinator last year who is now your offensive coordinator? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of frustration. So my issue, and the exact quote was Carson Wentz 2.0.
Yeah, that was jarring when I saw that.
Yeah.
So jarring.
I just got a pit in my stomach again when you. Yeah, I am not even kidding.
Yeah.
I was just
and Jason, on your point, if Gunner's putting it out there, he's not just like, I'm bored, let me stir the pot. He's not one of those guys.
Nope.
Okay.
Right.
He's somebody in that organization, or people in that organization are telling him this is the way it is. This is how we feel. And he's got to put it out there. And Harry, you were even pointing out before we hit go on the show here, Diana Rossini had a similar story as well.
It basically echoed something that she had already put out, but I kind of discount, Diana Rossini to a degree, because ESPN needs content every week.
Right.
And they need clicks, and they need guests on their various shows to come in and talk about the articles that they've written. Right. And the Eagles are a focal point team in the NFL. And so the more stuff written about them is going to get more attention. So I kind of look at that. I kind of blanch a little bit when I see it come there. But now that Gunner has basically echoed it, it's real to me.
So
he
that
does
note,
not need to generate content.
No.
He's basically retired and does some stuff on the side.
Right.
Like
he's doing Seth a favor.
Yeah, solid.
And I love Seth.
But the thing is, Harry, is like you said, Mark, he's heard it, and a guy like D Gunn doesn't report it unless he's heard it from multiple people.
Right.
That's a let me confirm what you're telling me with another person to corroborate.
And that could be because multiple people want it out there to take the attention and all the derision away from where they think it's pointed to, and that's the offensive coordinator or the wide receiver. They want it now. They want it on. They want the gun turrets turned and focused on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Always remember this: that any info that gets out, especially info like this, has a motive. Why is it being put out?
Right.
And Harry, you nailed it. What's going on? Huh? You nailed it.
Well, as far as he was on the damn,
wants it
as
off
far as
the
he was
people
on the
it's on.
show when this came out, man, what were you thinking when you're sitting there and you're watching D Gunn say this? What was going through your mind?
If you guys missed it, I got up and I went right over to Gunner and I just slapped him in the face and I said, "Pass that along to the Eagles." No, I said, I can't believe we're doing this. Like, again, I don't want this to be misconstrued. What Gunner said, I absolutely believe that somebody in the Eagles organization gave him that information. They leaked the information with purpose, with motive, Jason.
Yeah.
My feeling is, hold on a second here. If you want to say Carson Wentz 2.0, which, again, Jason, to use your word, jarring, that was the most jarring thing about it. If that's what the Eagles want out there, then you're a bunch of losers. Like, in all honesty, the Eagles are a bunch of losers. If you have a 2-time NFC champion, a 1-time Super Bowl champion, MVP quarterback as your franchise quarterback, and because he thinks the first-year play caller is not good at his job, he's going to go rogue from time to time. I'm on Team Jalen with that, okay?
Yeah,
I take his side with that. To say Carson Wentz 2.0, you're talking about a guy as Carson Wentz who was one of the softest guys you could ever see play the game of football, which is wild to think about that 1 year where he could have been the MVP of the league, but unfortunately got hurt. You went on to win the Super Bowl without him, and then he almost held that Super Bowl against the rest of the team for his own benefit. He didn't want to do any of that quote-unquote Foles stuff, as Darren Sproles pointed out to us a couple of times. To me, there is no comparison between Jalen Hurts. And one of the reasons I really liked Jalen Hurts after it was known that he was going to take over for Carson Wentz was when all the conversation was going on about Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, did he cower in that moment? No, he went on to have an MVP caliber season. Okay. That to me is mental toughness. That's rising above everything else. So when stuff hits the fan, and by the way, since then he's like 55-23 as a starting quarterback. Since then, he's been a runner-up in the MVP. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. All that. Oh, and numbers-wise, they look pretty good this year. I'm not just tossing that aside and saying it's Carson Wentz 2.0 because he has risen above that. And if anybody should have clout in a franchise, it's not a guy like Carson Wentz who would never won a playoff game for the franchise. It's a guy that has the resume of Jalen Hurts, putting that up against a guy that has a resume like Kevin Patullo. I'm Team Hurts in this situation.
I'm trying to figure out just, again, to the motivation point, who would want that out there? Because you bring up a great point, Mark, where you go, if the organization has a problem with the quarterback saying, I don't think the offensive coordinator's being creative enough or doing enough, and I'm playing as safe because I don't believe in what he's doing. Like, why put that out there? Who's got the motivation to put it out there? You got to like CSI this thing. Where's the motivation? Who benefits from this information being out there? Kevin Patullo?
Patullo and Sirianni.
Yeah.
Patullo and Sirianni.
Yeah.
Without question.
I mean, there's two messages out there because I've heard other messages that say, Jalen Hurts wants the shackles removed. He wants to be able to, get the straitjacket off him and let him turn it loose. There's that school of thought out there too. Now, where does that come from? That comes from, Jalen's side, maybe some other players' side, agents' side, whatever. I mean, it's really bizarre to see this because this information totally opposes that side of it.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Don't they? They're kind of contradict each
totally
other.
conflicting.
Well,
yes.
Well, let's put the aviators on and go ahead and do a little CSI here, gentlemen. Okay.
Yeah.
when it comes to that kind of thing about Jalen taking the shackles off, whatever, and wanting to go out there and really, just do his
Let
thing.
it rip. Yeah.
I don't see that.
What about the Super Bowl when they had the interception and he wanted to let it rip and put a dagger in him?
Yeah, no, that he has that. Like,
yeah.
Look, we've seen in the Rams game, we've seen in the Vikings game, he does that, but he does that so few and far between. He has plays out there on the football field where he can let it rip. This is where we're just talking about. This has nothing to do with a play call from Kevin Patullo. This is the ball is snapped. Maybe Jalen has already checked to a different play. He's surveying the field. There's the example with, I think it was Devontae Smith that he had open on that curl route where he had a completely clean pocket and ended up, getting hit 2 yards, past the line of scrimmage. You want to let it rip, Jalen? There it is right there. Boom, let it rip.
Right.
You want to let it rip, Jalen? You let it rip down the field to Jahan Dotson against the Giants. You want to let it rip? You see, I think it was Kyron Granson. That's his name, right? Kyron Granson.
The tight end, yeah.
On the tight end, he takes an 11-yard sack when he's got Granson leaking out of the backfield for an easy little check, easy little dump off where you're not taking an 11-yard sack. So the idea that they're keeping him under wraps, they're keeping him under control, I don't see it. I see Jalen with opportunities to let it rip, and he doesn't do it. Now,
that would echo the D-Gun report.
It absolutely
that's
would.
what that is.
It's the frustration.
Right.
Well, here's the thing.
And then the other side, real quick. The other side of it there is Jason, as you were saying, it's motivation though. What's the motivation behind it? Kevin Patullo wants to look good. Nick Sirianni wants his guy to look good. Jalen doesn't look particularly great this year, nor does the offense. But don't blame my guy. We're telling Jalen what to do, and he doesn't want to do it.
But yet his numbers indicate that he's on pace for a career year in certain categories.
Right, exactly.
It's so confounding. It really is.
And the other thing is like Nick Sirianni falls on the sword for his players all the time publicly. You know what I mean? Like when all that stuff was going on and, they supposedly went rogue. Who fell on the sword for running that third down or that play on fourth down the sideline to A.J. Brown a couple of games ago? He fell on the sword for his player. This is a conundrum wrapped in a riddle. It doesn't make any sense at all. What the motivation is and why it's conflicting motivations. I do think that the play of Hurts is impacted by a lack of confidence in what the offensive coordinator is calling. Even if there's guys open, if you don't have confidence in it, but then again, how do you have a career year?
Yeah.
I get some things just don't match here. It's all very bizarre.
I have learned
seen anything like this.
I've learned so much over the years to just not really care about the numbers, and you got to watch the game. And I know it's people like numbers because they feel like it justifies, whether or not they're right or wrong. And there are certainly plenty of cases where you can do that. But like an 8-2 team, people are like, well, they're 8-2, so what's the problem? Well, they fired their defensive coordinator 2 years ago when they were 10-3. So you tell me how much the record matters, okay?
Right.
8-2 is great, and it's certainly better than 2-8. All right. But what matters most to me is when you watch your team play and you say, are they dominating games? Are they eking out games? Are they playing at a Super Bowl championship level? And this year, the defense, which we'll get to.
The defense
exactly.
Yeah.
Defense is playing phenomenal.
Yeah.
Offense, what are you doing?
Let me counter it because we always have to. There is another team on the other side, and they've played some good teams, right? You look, they haven't scored a lot of points in the last 2 games. They've given up even less. But there is another team trying to stop them. That's trying to fight for a number 1 seed in the NFC too. So we got to remember that. Like they're not gonna dominate like they were last year because that offense was maybe once in a lifetime. And other teams have a book and they have to adjust. And maybe they haven't adjusted perfectly enough, but they've adjusted enough to get to 8-2. Will it start clicking offensively? I have no clue.
Well, that's what AJ told us a week or so ago.
Everybody's
adjusted, and we got to adjust to that.
Yep.
And we haven't done it. Right.
Yeah,
the ish show.
He's right, though. Like
he is right.
I end up agreeing with him at every turn.
Yeah. But see, now they'll have a built-in excuse if they lose this week to Dallas because of the offensive line injuries. Everything will point really to that. If the offense looks slow and not productive, not getting the ball down the field, no big plays. It's going to be because of that if they lose to Dallas.
Not the noise.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, happy Cowboys
Wayne
week, by the way.
Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, this is crazy. I feel like we are the Cowboys with all the like dysfunction and leaks and everything else. There's too much getting out, by the way. Too much.
I
Too
agree.
much noise.
By the way, on that note, you're just going to love the word that was used by DeSean Jackson. Oh, for the kids. Oh, this is going to be so good.
Boy,
we're going to talk about – Go
I'm
ahead.
going to learn something today on today's show.
This is good. I remember first hearing this maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. I'm like, I'm sorry, what was that word?
Oh, so you're familiar. You were familiar with it.
I have a ginormous family, and I'm close with all my cousins. So,
Okay.
like, I have younger cousins that are in college and high school and whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry, what was that word?
Gotcha.
What was that? Okay. I wish that word was around in my day. Anyway, all right. When we return, we'll break that one down because we have definitely stooped to the new deepest depths of drama when it comes to this Eagles team. All that more when we return. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Back after this. And let me tell you about PrizePicks, ladies and gentlemen. How fantastic!
I was doing PrizePicks.
You were doing. I thought you didn't want to do. Oh, that's
yeah. Let me go for it. Get out of here. Let me tell you about PrizePicks. This episode brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right will get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, NHL, or all of them. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. That's simple. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia if you're on the road. Now, PrizePicks during football games, Sundays, Saturdays for college, NBA tip-offs, you name it, it is simple and easy to use. It just gets a little more skin in the game. You pick your favorite players. Maybe you want to pick Hurts and A.J. Brown, more or less. Very simple. And the new Stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on Jalen Hurts yards or touchdowns or rushing yards for Saquon, whatever it is. Points in basketball, threes, points, rebounds, you name it. It's all there for you. And you can put it in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves early in the game with an injury, the injury reboot will save your lineup from a loss, which is a cool feature. Download the PrizePick app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And we're back.
There we go. My apologies, Jason. I got to do a better job putting my live reads in a better position to be read on time. Miss Cusi. I can't. I saw this last night. John Clark put it out there, NBC Sports Philly, and I read it twice to make sure I got the right word here. Now, DeSean Jackson was on a podcast there, a House of Action with DeSean Jackson, and he's quoted as saying, and I did find the clip, and I went and I watched it just to make sure this is 100% accurate, and it is. And he's talking about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. It's something else going on. Quote, it's something else going on. I got a relationship with him, meaning A.J. Brown, and I respect him. I can't say it, but I know it's something else going on. It's not all about football. It's not all about X's and O's. I've had a situationship or situationships with quarterbacks I don't necessarily like. And when it ain't there, it sticks out like a sore thumb. That's all I'm going to say. Eagles have a situationship with wide receiver and quarterback going on right now. Now, for people like myself who maybe a year ago didn't know this word, this is what high school and college kids might say, and maybe even in post-college, because you don't really grow up till you're like 50 anymore, apparently, these days. But here's the deal. You don't have a relationship. You don't have a boyfriend. You don't have a girlfriend. You have a situationship. Meaning you're still playing the field,
right?
But you're kind of seeing someone on the reg. Okay,
Gotcha.
Reg means regular for those that don't know. But anyway, that's where we're at right now with this Eagles team. There's a situationship with the quarterback and the wide receiver A.J. Brown. I feel like I'm in hell. This team is 8-2, and I feel like I am burning in football hell, football drama hell.
Did the situation from what's that Jersey Shore show make up this time?
Oh, yeah, the situation.
Mikey, the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a situationship.
Well, okay, it's funny, and I learned a new word thanks to Farzi this morning before the show, but at least it is a relationship. I mean, at least there is.
No, it's a situationship.
Well,
Harry.
no, but I'm just saying it's got the ship in there. You see what I'm saying? It's not like
So the ship hasn't sailed.
either they might be seeing other people, but they still are seeing one another on occasion.
That's good.
So
they're not.
I'm trying to find, so the positive in this.
They're right. No, that is good. That is the silver lining.
Right.
That is the silver lining there.
Yeah.
I will.
That ship is not sailing smoothly. I'll tell you that.
No, that's true.
Choppy
Choppy
waters.
waters.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in an episode of Deadliest Catch right now in the Bering Sea during a storm.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I will go back to what we said 2 weeks ago during the bye week when we did our little wish list, Jason, and you and I both had drama. We don't want drama. So far, we got A.J. Brown playing Madden with his buddy, saying that the offense is a bleep show, and we all actually agreed. And now we got a situationship going on with your quarterback and your wide receiver.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, and let's get to those X's and O's, because look, I don't want to speculate about what could happen off the field. It could be a number of things, and I don't want to put anything out there without any credence behind it. AJ Brown on that go ball on the 3rd and 16 or 3rd and 15 rather, he quit again. Have you guys seen the clip of this?
Yeah, he kind of
against the Lions.
Yeah.
Now he did this earlier in the season against the Broncos when there was a touchdown pass right there and he slowed down on the route. He quit on the route. What tipped me off to this was during the broadcast on Sunday night, Chris Collinsworth, I'm surprised they didn't show the replay of this, but Collinsworth reacted. Tirico first pointed out the murmurs from the crowd that got me thinking, did AJ quit on that? And then Collinsworth's reaction to it made me think AJ definitely quit on that route. So the next day when the All-22 came out and I watched it and I went, oh, damn, he totally quit on that route. He lollygagged it for a good 7 yards, and that ball landed a good 5 yards in front of him. So if he's booking it, it was very catchable. At the absolute worst, it's a 50-50 ball that he gets and gets tackled immediately. And at the absolute best, it's a 50-50 ball. He jumps up and grabs, and the defensive back falls, and he scores a touchdown.
Right. Or maybe there's a pass interference because it's a 50-50 ball.
So you got the Broncos game. You got the go ball against the Packers, which still, I don't want to make it about AJ's effort, even though it was garbage. That's a terrible play. Jalen Hurts called that play, that iteration of the play. That was stupid. Bad idea.
Never should have happened. Right.
Never should have happened, but AJ still zero effort. And then this play, he gives up on it as well. And it wasn't like a long, drawn-out play. I think it was 3.5 seconds from snap to pass that AJ already quit on in one-on-one coverage. So if you're going to be the guy to say, hey, this really sucks, then you can't be the guy that quits. You can't be the guy in the group project that lets the defense get an A and do all the work. Your quarterback put the ball where you're supposed to make a play, and you just show up without showing up.
You can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, how do you explain that? And really, what did the coach? I mean, did somebody question the head coach about that?
They questioned Kevin Patullo on it. I know that. I don't think Nick got a question of that after the game or on Monday or yesterday.
That's kind of my issue too. Like, who's the freaking boss? Okay, I know the Eagles are a collaborative with this whole Jeffrey Lurie thing. I get all that. And everybody's got their own piece and their own sort of opinion that's going to be heard and all that. That's why this stuff generally happens and keeps happening with the Philadelphia Eagles, is because there's too many, I think, voices that are valued. You need one guy to step forward and be the boss. Okay, this would never have happened back in the old days with Parcells, because he would have shut it down. And he is the guy you go to. You know what I'm saying? Who's the real patriarch of the team? It should be the head coach, right?
It should be, especially if he's going to be a CEO head coach. He should be the guy shutting it down.
Then start acting like one.
So they did ask Kevin Patullo about it, and Petullo's not going to say, "Oh, well, what happened on that one was AJ quit, and we told him not to quit, so he doesn't quit anymore." But he said, "I think he kind of got tangled up a little bit with the DB." Bull. All right.
Yeah.
AJ Brown is still a strong as hell wide receiver. He can get around that guy. He's quick enough to still get around that guy. And even if he's not getting full-blown separation, he can still go up and get that 50-50. He can still do that.
Right.
And there was little effort. Look, if I was Kevin Petullo, Harry, I would have looked for the same excuse. I would have said, this is where I could say that he kind of got tangled up. But you go back and you watch it, and you're like, there's no way. No way that he couldn't make a play. He could have absolutely made a play for that football, and he didn't do it. And if you're A.J. Brown and you're the first one to say what a bleep show this is, using me without using me, all that, then take a little accountability, because I will say he got asked the question after the game. A.J. Brown got asked the question after the game about that route, and he said that we just missed it. He said, "Now Jalen, I'm not saying Jalen missed it. I'm just saying we missed it." But I couldn't have gotten to that ball. And I'm like, bull. Are you kidding me?
With full effort, you could have.
Like, I'm not asking him, to put his head down and I guess I
lay
am
out.
His head, lay out for it. But I'm saying, don't can you stop quitting on routes? If the ball's there and we all agreed with A.J. Brown that this offense is a problem this year. Absolutely, it's a problem this year. It is at times very much an ish show, if you will. But if you're A.J. Brown and you know that, and if you've acknowledged it, then you got to realize that there are going to be those instances where you still get your shot. No matter what, in every game, you're going to get a shot. You're going to get an opportunity there to do something to impact the game. And you mean to tell me you're going to quit on some of those plays? You're going to hold up on some of those plays?
Did he not think he was getting the ball there?
I don't remember Jalen really bouncing his eyes around the field.
Yeah.
It looked like that ball was going to AJ the whole time.
Wow.
I can't stand it.
Because we've seen him engaged and blocking for, running backs down the field. It's not like he's quitting on plays, when he knows he's not involved. But I'm just thinking, in this situation, was he surprised that the ball came to him?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, the other part of it is let's go back to some more numbers deceiving. The numbers say that he's not getting the separation that he did even last year, A.J. Brown. But I see him open enough where I still want to get the ball in his hands.
He got 11 targets last week, 7 catches, right?
Yeah, that was
for
insane.
only 49 yards or whatever. It was like yards per catch was a shell of what he typically does.
Yeah, I think Devontae Smith had a drop. Dallas Goedert had a drop. Kyron Grayson had a drop. I think AJ had a drop. It was a rough night to really get anything going in the passing game, unfortunately, for both sides.
The wind was tough. The wind was
tough. Yeah, I know people don't like that excuse, but yeah.
Harry couldn't get a 7-iron home from 122 that day.
I couldn't. You're right.
That's normally a 78 wedge for
that's
Harry.
That's a pitching wedge.
Yeah.
But I had to use a 7
Not
or 8.
a lob wedge, Harry.
That's true. Yeah. It's true.
Were you actually golfing Sunday morning?
Yeah, I played 18 in 30 to 40 mile an hour winds on Sunday. Yeah.
I would have played 7 that day.
$160.
I'm I'm out.
Yeah.
That's a 7-hole excursion. I've had enough of this wind.
7 holes.
You get frustrated. I've seen it enough.
And I didn't drink either while I was
geez.
playing.
Where's the fun in that?
Well,
no wonder you won $60.
Speaking of frustration,
yeah.
How do the frustrations go away with this offense? To put it before we go over and talk about how great the defense is, by the way. But if you have a quarterback who's calling his own plays from time to time, or at least checking into different plays than what's called on the sideline. You have a first-year play caller that apparently the quarterback doesn't have enough confidence in. You have your supposed number one wide receiver far from a career year and a malcontent who quits on routes, and a run game that just won't get going unless apparently Tank Bigsby's running the route.
That's it. That's what they got to do is find a way to get the run game going.
Feed the tank?
Yeah. Tank. Yeah, feed the tank. And I gotta be honest. The tank when he's used has been nice.
Yes,
yeah.
But it's got to be Saquon. You got to get that.
It's Saquon.
Here's the problem though. You're without Lane Johnson.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
Like, let's get back to reality here. Like, out of the soap opera, you're without the guy. This is as real as it gets.
You got Toth and Fred Johnson in there this week.
Yeah.
For
Good.
the long haul.
And
I'm not as
need to
concerned
remind
with Fred
people.
Johnson, but I am concerned with Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Brett Toth. And I know it's going to be a mixed match of those, like two of those three, but that's the bigger concern.
And you need that cohesion along an offensive line.
Yeah, by the way, Jason, for your overall point today, with Lane Johnson.
Oh, boy, here, this hurts.
Here we go. Is this the record?
I'm going to lose my breakfast again.
Here we go.
With Lane Johnson in his career with the Eagles are 110, 57, and 1.
110, 57, and 1 with
Got a
Lane,
68 points winning percentage.
that's pretty good.
yes.
Some would say above average.
Yeah.
Without
think
Lane
about that
Johnson,
over
I was
his
actually
career. They weren't always
Over
this
his career.
good. He played during Chip Kelly.
Right. Yeah.
his first draft pick. Without Lane Johnson, I was actually surprised. They've won 15 games without Lane Johnson. They've lost 23. They're 15-23 without him.
So, wow.
About 30%.
Yeah.
Sweet, sassy
At
molest.
least they don't have a tie without him.
Yeah, there you go. There's no chance the Eagles tie. How about the Cowboys tie twice? No, I don't even want to go down that path, but that would be funny. Yeah, that's where they're at with Lane Johnson, without Lane Johnson, in Lane Johnson's career. So there you go.
And then I guess when they go with the heavy package with the 6th offensive lineman, who will that be? Pryor this time?
Pryor,
Because
and they
Fred's
just
already out there.
they just activated somebody.
Was it Sua Opeta?
See, I
No,
don't
it
know-
wasn't.
No.
I don't know if you
Hilton?
can do that now, Harry.
What? You can't
Because
run
we don't
heavy?
have. Look, you could do it with Fred Johnson because he's very capable in that situation. But now he's the right tackle. If you may not have a guy that fits that build, you may have to remove that element out of your offense.
Miles Hinton. Miles
Oh,
Hinton
okay.
has just been
Not Miles
has been
Teller.
activated.
He was a
No,
draft
not Miles
pick, wasn't
Teller. Hinton,
Yeah.
if this year,
he? Miles Hinton.
yeah,
Yeah.
quite possibly.
Yeah, from
quite
Michigan.
possibly.
From Michigan.
What round?
He was the 6th round pick in this past year's draft.
Copy that. All right. Wow. So he's going to see.
He's an offensive tackle.
He could potentially
6'6", 325. Big boy.
6th
All
round
right.
pick.
6th round
All right.
peck. Yes.
I'm in. They're not going to miss a beat. They're not going to miss a beat. No. All right.
Big
When we
Michigan
come back,
tackle, John Run.
there you go.
Maybe he's a
Let's heap the praise on the defense like the defense deserves when we come back, because good Lord. And also, I can't play the soundbite, but I will mention the soundbite, and it's one of my favorite all-time Vic Fangio soundbites. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Back after this. And right now, I'm going to tell you about FanDuel and how fantastic FanDuel is. NBA, it's back, and there's no better place to get in on all the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And even if you miss the start of a game and you want to ride a hot hand, let's say later on, FanDuel has live bets from everything like who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when you hit your first $5 bet. That's right. $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up now for new customers. $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Vic Fangio is one of my favorite human beings already. And now I will provide.
Why is that?
It's a paisan.
Well, I'll say this. It does have something to do with it because he does remind me a hell of a lot of my own father. I will say that. I will say that. Like, for instance, this was. I won't give you context because it's not as fun with context. I'll just say what he said. Everyone's got a whine and a bitch. That's what he said in his press conference on Wednesday. Now, I'll provide the context now. They were talking about like D3 college football teams that didn't make the playoffs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people just started shouting them out at the press conference. And I forget who said one of them. And it was like, what about Rowan? Something like that. And Vic Fangio was like, everyone's got a whine and a bitch. And I was like, that is the most perfect Vic Fangio quote ever. I wish it had something to do with something other than D3 college football teams, but whatever, I'll take it. But one of the other things was I rarely ever watch the opposing team in their press conferences or media sessions. But who was it? It was the tackle for the Lions. He was asked about what made the Eagles defense so dominant. It wasn't Penei Sewell. Taylor Decker. It was Taylor Decker. Okay. And the reporter asked him after the game, while they're still at the stadium, right after the game, they say, what made that defense so dominant? And Taylor Decker acted like he was just in a car accident and couldn't describe what happened. Like he was just like,
just searching for the word and couldn't come up with it.
Yeah. Like he said, he literally, this was a quote from him. He goes, I have to go back and watch the film. Like this time I really actually have to watch the film to figure out what happened in that game because they were just so good. They were just so good. It was like, I don't know, witnessing a haunting. You can't describe to somebody else who wasn't there.
Right.
They had his head in a blender, basically, trying to figure out what the Eagles, what Jalen Phillips, Jalen Carter, Defensive Player of the Week, Jordan Davis did, and Jalix Hunt and Nakobe Dean. Oh my goodness, that second to last possession with Nakobe Dean on defense was incredible. Jason, this defense, this Philadelphia Eagles defense, is a sight to behold.
Oh, unreal. We remember some good Ds, people of our vintage in this town, going back into the 80s, 90s, and we've had some great defensive players and defensive units. This one is right there. It is right there. It may not have the name of a Reggie Brown or Reggie White or Jerome Brown. Excuse me. I just combined the two. Reggie Brown was a receiver.
Downtown Reggie Brown.
Yeah, but it's got some absolute players on it, and the entire scheme led by Vic Fangio. We've had some great defensive coordinators, frankly, in this town, and he is right there with what the job he is doing. I mean, think about the last 2 weeks, what he did to those. What did he do to Jared Goff? I don't even know if Goff can play in the NFL anymore after that. Like that is one of those ones that like, whoa, that could ruin a quarterback. He was so 2 for his last 18, just hideous. And Vic Fangio continues to push the right buttons with that old school demeanor. I love this defense. And Harry nailed it on postgame when he said this team found its identity, and it's its defense.
It's the defense.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Harry nailed it.
I watched that first series, we got the Jordan Davis deflection that ended up being intercepted by Farzi's boy, Cooper DeJean. And then the second series I thought was just brilliant. I mean, they ended up getting the Jalen Phillips sack that forced a 3rd and 16. I mean, they just got off the field. It was a brilliant 3 and out. And I'm like, they just sort of took command of the football game defensively right there. And Jalen Carter he's back to playing the way Jalen Carter was playing last year, which we were waiting. He was unhealthy, a little out of shape maybe at the beginning of the season, but he's back to doing Jalen Carter things. Davis is playing out of his mind. Nakobe Dean is running with receivers and backs on that team for Detroit that they're blurs, both of those guys, Gibbs and Williams. It's unbelievable. He's in coverage with them and hanging with them. I was blown away by that. It's just like you're getting it from each and every guy. Like we mentioned, Phillips, the acquisition. He's here for 2 weeks and has made big impacts in both of these games, and to me really sets up the rest of the defense to be better and sort of, sitting back in their roles now where, he can get to the passer with 3 down linemen now, which is what Fangio wants to do. So it's just been something to see these past 2 weeks against. I know Detroit's a good football team. I don't know if Green Bay's a good football team, but I know Detroit is. And with what they did, along with the wind and the outdoor elements, really messed with Jared Goff, like you guys were saying.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention the best. I think the best guy on the defense, Quinyon Mitchell, too. Like, he is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Adoree Jackson making plays? What?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Jason, it's funny you mentioned Quinyon Mitchell because about midway through the third quarter, I was like, there was two things. One, it was Nolan Smith. I was like, is Nolan Smith playing? Where's Nolan Smith? Now, one of the things Fangio did say was that Nolan Smith apparently has been on a snap count, which I thought was interesting. I hadn't heard that before, but he's been on a little bit of a snap count since coming back, I guess ramping him up and all that. But the other thing was Quinyon Mitchell. And whenever it's a corner, it's the similar way you would talk about a referee or an official or an offensive lineman. If we're not talking about them, that means they're doing a good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Quinyon was barely even in any frame during the game because Jared Goff wouldn't even look his direction in that game. He was dominant. They were 0 for 6 when targeted, I believe, in going on Quinyon Mitchell in that game, which even seems like it's more than I thought.
He's become Revis Island.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Guantanamo Bay, babe.
Yep.
Guantanamo Bay.
He's become that. You just avoid him.
I love that nickname, Harry. You can't make me hate it. I love it. I love it. It's
I do.
a great
I'm
nickname.
not going to try to make you hate it.
You know why I love it, Harry?
Enjoy yourself.
Because Nathan R. Jessup resides at Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
There you go. But you mentioned Jalen Phillips, Harry. That sack, that was on Penei Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
He totally faked out Penei Sewell with a little sidestep to make it look like he was going to go drift over to the slot, like he was going to drop back in coverage at the slot, okay? Or maybe have far outside contain. Little slide step, little hesitation, and then he went after Jared Goff, and Penei Sewell had no idea. Like, literally, Jared Goff's already on his back, and Penei Sewell is still trying to block the guy in front of him. No idea where Jalen Phillips was on that play. And here's the scary part. Another thing Vic Fangio said this week was when he was asked about Jalen Phillips, is he at the spot that he was at when you had him in Miami for those 9 games? And Fangio said, he's getting close. He's not even there yet, gentlemen. He's this good. And he's not even at the point that he was at when Vic Fangio had him and when he was 100% healthy before he got hurt that year in 2023 under Fangio in Miami. He's not even there yet. He's still ramping up to the point where he was basically averaging a sack a start in Vic Fangio's scheme.
Yeah, but if we know Fangio, he'll never be quite at that level this year because he's going to keep motivating him that way. You know what I mean?
Right. Hands out compliments like manhole cover.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the other on that same note, he also, when he was asked about what has made the scheme work, and he was like, the players, like the player, like Nakobe Dean coming back, and Jason, you shouted it out. And, oh my God, Nakobe Dean, you know who he honestly reminded me of on that possession, where he was drop back in coverage, and then got a sack. He reminded me of Zach Bond last year.
Yeah.
We're just playing like your hair's on fire. That's where you don't know if he's going to go 20 yards downfield and break up a pass, in this case to Jahmyr Gibbs, or if he's going to break up a pass. I think it was to Javonte Williams. He went after him, shut that down. Jameson Williams. Sorry, thank you. Jameson Williams. And then also just picked up David Montgomery like he was a wee baby and threw him into Jared Goff.
That guy's 230 pounds, Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no joke.
He blew him
He
up.
blasted him.
He hit that gear when he at engagement, and just it was like roid rage or something. It was like you were watching, the Incredible Hulk just poof people off him. Like it was insane. You couldn't. He was unbelievable in the game. Even when he wasn't dropping back in coverage or making that play, he was just all over it.
Yeah.
He was involved. He just seemed like he kept showing up on camera because they were following the ball.
Yeah.
I thought he was unbelievable in the game. To be coming back from injury and missing all the time that he did and do that, wasn't expecting that.
And I liked what you said before the show, Farzy, about the Detroit head coach who now calls the plays. Were it not for his performance being so awful, we might be talking a little bit more about Nick Sirianni's faults. But how about the fact that it took until the second half for them to get Gibbs involved in the offense? I mean, and they came out in that third quarter, and it was obviously the focus. We got to get the ball to this guy, and it took them 2 quarters to figure that out.
Yeah. I think Dan Campbell did Nick Sirianni a lot of favors because sometimes Nick will get criticized for maybe being a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, Dan Campbell was way too aggressive. Sometimes Nick will be criticized for why doesn't he just take over play calling again? Not always a great idea. Dan Campbell tried it. It's not going well for them, unfortunately. It went well against Washington.
Right, a bad defense.
Right, and not so much against the Eagles.
Yeah. And a backup quarterback.
Yes, and how about this as well? They were, 0 for 5 on 4th down?
They turned it over on downs 5 times, I believe, in the game.
That's incredible.
Yeah. The last team to go 0 for 5 on 5 or more 4th down attempts, I think it was 25 years ago.
It was 96 or something.
It was also the Detroit Lions. So there you go.
That's a different Lions team at that time. But
was that Wayne Fonts, Jason?
Yeah. Playing at the Pontiac Silverdome, Harry.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when we come
Megatron on that team, Harry?
No, it was pre-Megatron if it was 96.
I don't like to brag, gentlemen, but Megatron once held the door open for me. Nice guy.
Is that right?
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy. He did the thing where you just wait a second for the guy behind you.
Yeah.
I didn't see who was in front of me. We're going up steps at the Ford Field. And I know this is a fascinating story. But anyway, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. And I looked up, I was like, oh, holy, what the? Let me tell you, Megatron, yeah. That is not a wasted nickname. I'm like, that guy is a supreme being. Supreme being.
There's been such a losing franchise for so long, but they've had some great players.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's a shame. When we come back, there's one thing in particular I'm looking forward to in this Dallas game. It's a quick blink of a break. We'll get to it. Harry, you actually touched on it. We'll get to it in a second. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel.
Yeah, and you got to mention that we're the number one podcast network in the planet, Farzy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are.
You know?
On planet Earth. We are the number one sports podcast network out there. Oh, I'm surprised they don't have that written in our little things here. Every other show has it written in.
Did you get your T-shirt? They sent me a long sleeve T-shirt.
I didn't get one.
Yeah.
It's an outrage.
A long sleeved green Locked On network T-shirt. It's a nice item.
When did you get that, Harry?
That's it. Oh, no, you got a hat.
In honor of Locked On Louie.
Oh, yeah. I don't need any more
I'll probably get a
hats.
hat because I'm bald, too.
I got enough hats.
I don't think this looks half bad.
No, it's not bad.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that kind of gray? What is the color?
It's a grayish. Yeah, it's a gray.
Yeah.
It's
a
solid
trucker hat.
gray.
Yeah,
Mesh back trucker hat.
Nice.
Kind of like the CCM hat, Harry.
Nothing
But it's
is
not
like
the CCM hats are a slouch. That's called a slouch hat, where it falls on your head.
Yeah.
I can't wear the one like that. I
like the
like
slouch hat.
Me too, I'm a big fan of slouch.
Yeah.
Jason, I remember when I
Buzzing over
shaved
there.
my head, you told me not to wear the hat like this when you're bald.
No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
No.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
No, you got this half moon thing going on.
Luigi likes the big hats.
Yeah.
Not the slouch hats. He's like the other ones.
A trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like he's got a big Max Headroom head.
I call those Charlie Manuel hats.
Okay.
Charlie, I don't know who was giving Charlie his hats, but they didn't do him any favors.
Yeah.
They weren't broken in. You got to have a broken in bucket.
Yeah.
No, he was classic for. All right, now we're doing hat bits. Now I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Speaking of prop comedy, Jason, I was about to get another hat.
1,000 of them over there. They all say CCM on them, along with
For the people on the podcast, we were just wearing hats.
I got
Jalen
Harry's
Carter.
CCM shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. What about this week, Farzy?
Let's get it back to the
Yeah,
Eagles.
let's get it back to the Eagles, please.
You mentioned it. Far be it from me to champion anybody spitting on anybody this week because it hasn't been a good week for the NFL for that. But
the Jalen Carter redux.
I'm not. Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of like the idea of the Eagles still beating the Cowboys week 1 Thursday night, and Jalen Carter didn't play a snap.
Right.
Now, the NFL counted that game because he was thrown out before the first snap as a game suspension, which I still think is ridiculous. But hey, I'm happy that it's ridiculous because it benefits the Eagles.
Active.
He was active, right? And then obviously everything goes down this week with Jamar
Chase and Jalen Ramsey.
But the story this week for the Eagles that I like is they haven't seen not only just the way this defense looks now,
right,
but they haven't seen this defense even with Jalen Carter this year
right.
in the middle of this defense. So I think that's a huge advantage for the Eagles going up against an offense that, I mean, if you're being real, they certainly, and granted, it was the Raiders on the road.
Yeah.
But this is still an offense that is pretty stout with Prescott throwing the ball well and and I downplayed the guy before, George Pickens. Harry, you righted me on that
I'm telling you, that guy's a stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud. But yeah, it's like Jalen Carter and Jalen Phillips introduced themselves to Dak Prescott early in the first quarter on this game on Sunday afternoon. I'm looking forward to it because everybody's talking, about Dallas's offense, because he had 4 touchdown passes against the lowly Raiders the other night. Who cares? Seriously, that's how the Eagles will win this game, and I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
I hope they can make this Dallas offense look like that Detroit offense, and do what to Prescott they did to Prescott what they did to Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Dallas doesn't have a weapon like Gibbs.
Right.
They've got receivers, but their running back is a running back, and he's good, but he's not Gibbs.
Yeah, I just wonder if you can sustain this level of defense 3 games in a row coming out of
So you're saying they're going to have to hold them to 6 or 9 points for us to win?
Yeah. No, I think the Eagles will actually score this week, but this is a game that normally – you go after those 2 games coming back from the bye, Green Bay on the road, then Detroit at home. You worry about the letdown, but the fact that it's the Cowboys, maybe kind of mitigates that a little bit. So
yeah, I'm with you. But I thought they'd lose one of those games between Green Bay and Detroit, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So
I think the updated number on the Eagles over/under is 12.5.
12.5. Correct.
From Jimmy Shapiro. So
yep.
Wow.
I like the over.
I think the Eagles get the Cowboys right where they want them. I think this is I like the idea of the Cowboys thinking they had like a get-right game against the Raiders.
Yeah.
And then hopefully getting smacked in the mouth by the Eagles.
Reality check?
Yeah, a little bit. And Jason, to build on what you said earlier, and I think this is a big part of it, they played the Packers, they played the Lions. And the Eagles, aside from being a Super Bowl champion where everyone's gunning for you, like looking to beat the best, you had 2 of the teams that, especially last year in the NFC, were 2 of the best. You faced one of them in the playoffs. You didn't get a chance to face the Lions. I can understand why the Lions might feel, like Aiden Hutchinson said, like they had that game really circled on their calendar because they didn't get a shot at the Eagles last year because, well, they had a ton of guys on IR and they choked. And they choked against the Commanders. They lost. They got blown out. They didn't get blown out, but they had 5 turnovers. Jared Goff himself had 4. Yeah, they gave up a lot of points. So I can understand that. Not only are you getting every team's best because you're the Super Bowl champions, but you're also getting teams that are supposed to be an upper echelon teams in the NFC. You're getting their best as well. And now the Cowboys are in a spot where I'm sure they're feeling good. Like I said, maybe a get-right game for them against the Raiders. They get the defending Super Bowl champions. Everyone's talking about how the Eagles are the only team in the NFC East. Cowboys want to make some news on a nationally televised game. I want the Cowboys to be riding as much of a high as possible. Yeah. For the Eagles to bring them right back down to earth.
I think the Cowboys are like 3-1 at home in the last 4 against the Eagles.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that does sound right.
Look, every team when they play the Eagles now, that's the measuring stick.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the record over the last 2 years, the reigning Super Bowl champs, all of that. They hold every tiebreaker against every team that's trying to dethrone them in the NFC. Because why? Because they've beaten them all. And so, you're going to – anytime any team plays them, they're going to go, okay, if we can beat that team, we feel good about where we're going. Because and it's not just you got to beat the Eagles when they're at their best no, because you look at that record over the last 2 years. It's a disgusting record over 2 years. It's unbelievable how many football games they've won. So, yeah.
Love it. That's Harry Mays. That's Jason Martinez. I'm Marc Farzetta.
23-16.
Oh, you wanted your prediction? 23-16. You got that?
Yep.
23-16. All right.
Yeah.
Ugliness from the Cowboys. Harry, what do you got?
24-13.
You guys. I still think it's going to be a hard-fought battle.
Okay.
I'm going to go 21-20 Eagles.
Ooh.
An aristocrat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Let's get weird. All right. That's Harry Mays. That's Jason Martinez. I'm Marc Farzetta. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Louis couldn't be with us today, but Locked On Luigi will be with you every other day this week on Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to all that. Harry, Jason, Louis, got you guys covered for postcast following the 4:25 kickoff against the Cowboys in Dallas. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You guys are great as per usual. Like and subscribe. Back with you guys later on. See ya.